Hello and welcome to this live summer trading. Excuse me if I'm looking a little bit sweaty, but it's because it's very warm right now. So maybe there's a little bit of a noise from the fan in the background. You can let me know if it's too annoying. But here in Denmark, where I sit, it's quite warm today. Um, I would like to ask the people who is watching if the sound this time is okay. I had a little bit of problem the last time with the sound interfering. But I hope that the sound should be crystal clear now. I'm looking for the chat. If somebody will write me if the sound is fine, so we can continue. Can anybody tell me if the sound is okay? And we say it's fine. All right. All right, let's get started into this. So today we are doing some live trading. I know this is the summertime and therefore maybe a lot of people is already on vacation, but I decided to go live one more time. In case there's too many of the Danish followers, I will also switch to Danish if necessary for the questions. But the point is that today we're going to talk about, first of all, we're going to trade live when the market opens at 3:30. Danish time or 9:30 New York time. And today we're also going to talk about price action trading specifically. And I actually want to start to show you an example from a little bit earlier today. So let's see if we can jump straight into it. I will try and show you the screen here. Just a second. Here we go. So now you guys should be able to see my TD365 platform, and it says Germany 40, which is the German DAX index. And today I actually drew in this support and resistance area in the top here, as you can see. This is in the 1 hourly time frame. And the interesting part is that when this candle over here, maybe I can write a circle around it so you guys can see it a little bit better. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. When this candle over here finished, I said, well, okay, in this case, this can actually be triple resistance, but as of my price trading, I don't know what's going to happen in the next candle. But if there's going to be any repeat of previous time history, that means that the stop would not be so long, but the profit could actually be much longer. So in this case, I took a short entry up here and let it run for almost the whole hour. The point I'm trying to make here is that I'm not trying to, in my price action trading, to predict the future movements necessarily. So after this candle closes, I don't know if the next candle is going to bounce off from the 20 moving average, which is the blue line here, and then go through the resistance. I've seen this so many times that price goes down and then boom, it shoots up through resistance, or just goes up, takes out the resistance area, takes out all the stops, and then go back to this area. So in this case, the only thing I could do was actually to trail my order and wait for the signal for me to get out of the trade. But nevertheless, I got 71 points in the DAX, which is more than fine. So I'm happy about that. My point here is that if you take resistance and support, those two things are very good when it comes to trading, but they cannot always stand alone. That's why you need to look at the price action and what the price action is telling you. I have 3 indicators down here. This is from kind of like an old thing, but I will just blind them off because they're basically not necessary to watch. Right now, we should only watch. There's actually one more I need to blind off like this. Here we go. So now we have the raw price history, and we have the 2 moving averages. And this is basically what the teaching that I have got from my price action is, that I'm basically reading the price as it happens. That's why when the price came out up here, I was not really trying to predict whether it was going to stop or go out. But if I got a signal, then I could enter. And in this case, the clearest signal, I entered before, but the clearest signal was, let me see if I can draw this in here, was when the green, it doesn't really want to go. Let's see if it can go now. Here we go. As soon as the green bar gets taken out on the body here, you technically has a possible short. But this is very important. you have to understand that when you do a short from up here, you are still shorting in a positive area. A positive area means that price is above the 200 moving average, is above the 20 moving average, and therefore you should not expect necessarily to get more than 1 or 2 or 3 candles. In this case, that's why I took off after 1 candle, because I was not expecting more. If I entered a long down here on this green one, which is basically a bull 180 because it takes out this one completely, then I could expect more green to come because it goes into a positive area with the 2 moving averages together and then the 20 moving averages rising. So here I could expect several moves up. But from here doing a short, this is basically a counter trend move. Also up here, of course, if you did the short here, you this time would happen to be lucky if you got to trail the order all the way down. But as you can see from these 2 examples, it comes with a different way that it actually does the price history. Here it goes down, sideways, down, where here it just goes straight down. And probably today it can go like down, up, and then down again. So it will be 3 different scenarios within the same area. But what I wanted to talk about is basically that my price action, the way I trade it and the way I've taught it, is basically just using those 3 things, using the price, the blue line, the 20 moving average, and using the 200 moving average. And then, of course, I can use support resistance as a helping factor, so to speak, to give me more, evidence about my trade. But I'm just looking for guidance, you could say, with the moving average, and I look how price acts within this moving average. So does the price respect the 20 moving average, or does the price not respect the 20 moving average? So the price action in itself can be really, really simple. And I try to make it as simple as possible because I know that through all my experience that I'm still going to fight all these other things like the trading mindset, the trading psychology that everybody fights with, because our brain is not built for trading really. So that's why I will also experience the same as you guys when it comes to, the fear of missing out or the fear of taking money off the table too early or what it could be. By the way, if you have any questions to what I'm saying today, you just write it in the comment section and I will answer them as quick as I can. So it can be about the price action, it can be about the stocks, it can be about trading psychology, it could be about the platform, whatever. Let me take just one quick second here before the market opens in 6 minutes to actually talk about the platform that I use. The platform that I use is TD365, which is, I think, is a really cool platform. But the most cool thing about TD365 is that they have the tightest spread, the best prices. And for me as a trader, this is really important. Let me show you just a very quick thing here. I'll flip it over to the other window. There we go. The key benefits of this platform that I'm using is that they have these tight fixed spreads. And the tight fixed spreads is your, guarantee that you're not going to get ripped off for every time you make a trade. This is very important. You won't believe how much money it will be in difference if the spreads is not tight and if they're variable instead of fixed. Also, the 200 times 1 leverage means that if you have a smaller account, you have the possibility actually to trade with a larger amount that you have. Let's say if you have 1,000 kroner on your account, you can basically buy a position which is worth 200 times more. It doesn't mean that you have to use or exercise this privilege, because at the end of the day, you can just put in 200,000 on the account and then it's equal. You just trade the same. But for some people, they get a little bit afraid when they see these high leverages. And the most important thing is really that if you understand how to use your stop during your trading, it's not going to be a problem. But of course, if you let it run crazy, well, yeah, technically you can blow up your account very fast. And that's why the good part is that on TD365, they also have negative balance protection. That means that you cannot actually end up owing money to your broker. They will simply close out your position if they go too much against you and if you haven't put in a stop. But here comes the really cool part that I like, is actually the single currency trading. I don't think there's any other brokers really who offers this. Single currency trading just means that you can decide which currency you're going to trade in. And for me, as being a Danish, I have chosen Danish kronos. So that means I don't have to do any exchange or pay any fees or exchange all the time. And you won't believe how much money you will actually spend on exchange if you're going to exchange your money all the time, because you could be sure that if it's a bank or if it's a broker, whoever it is, that the rate that you exchange to is not necessarily the best rate you can get. So that's why the single currency trading is actually a very, really cool feature. And for me, as a Danish person, well, you could say, but I should be afraid if the euro is falling because the Danish is pegged to the euros. Well, I would be more afraid that the US dollars eventually is going to drop. And therefore, if I have my account in US dollars, I would be very worried because it will kind of drain out my money. So, yeah, I just think it's a cool platform. I'm sure there's many other good brokers out there, but I just use this one. And if you guys are interested in using the same one as me, I have left the link in the description in this video, so you can sign up through my link. And yeah, it's free of you guys. That's why I put it as advertised. But I'm not sponsored anyway by T365. It's just the broker I use, so it's up to you guys. But there's a link in the description, so you can use this if you want to. Yeah. All right. Now we have 2 minutes before the market opens. So now I will flip to another window. I hope you can see now. This should be my 4 stocks of Netflix, Nvidia, Microsoft, and Meta. Let me know if you cannot see this, else I presume that you can see this. So these are the 4 stocks that I monitor for the opening, and I have already drawn in what I call, what Oliver Velez calls the Fabulous 4. And these are just some guides that make you help to do the right decisions when it comes to your entries here. So what I'm waiting for is the market to open. And for the first 2 minutes, I'm not going to do anything. And if I am going to execute anything, I will execute it on my TD365 account, of course. And also, I will try and monitor this time. I haven't done this before in the live trades, but this time I will try to monitor to see if the Dow Jones actually produces any kind of signal. And while we're at it, I think I will open up also the Nvidia, so we can see if that is going to produce any kind of signal as well. Yeah, here we go. I'm just making it ready. There we go. So now we have 45 seconds to the market opens. And what I'm looking for in these 4 stocks is that they are going to hopefully open outside of the Fabulous 4 box. And I'm looking for either what's called a strong elephant bar to the upside or to the downside, or maybe a bear or bull 180. Or I could be looking for some kind of tail bar. But it has to be, how do you say, at the right location in this case, in order for me to do anything. I'll grab a glass of water. Ooh, it's hot. Okay, so we have 11 seconds now before the market opens. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Wow. Seems like the meta just needs to update a little bit. Where's that one? Oh, it's right there. Okay. Okay. So the Microsoft is opening within the area. The Meta is actually opening underneath the area with a long, very long bar so far. But I'm not doing anything until at least 1 minute and 30 has gone of the 2 first minutes, because else I can be triggered from a wrong signal. Wow. Okay, first minute's gone. the meta is going absolutely crazy, all the way from the bottom and all the way to the top in 1 minute. Okay, maybe this could actually be the time where the Dow is going to produce something, but I'm still waiting for the 2 minutes to get almost finished up. So the Microsoft now, that's 1 minute 30, is actually producing a green elephant bar, but it's going in the negative area. So what I will be looking for in the Netflix here would be a red bar or several red bars to take out this green bar before I would enter a short. Nvidia is fighting to stay above, so this one I'm monitoring. And the Microsoft is actually inside the area, so this is kind of like the drink coffee area, you could say. Here we go. All right. So NVIDIA kind of just climbed out of the box, but is now a return to the box. Yeah. Okay. In the meantime, the Dow Jones skyrocketed on the 3 minute, but that's how it is, of course. I know they're running for the campaign for the U.S. presidential election, and I think to some degree this could actually impact the market a little bit, but not necessarily on an overall basis. But I'm not really going to talk too much about it, because at the end of the day, I don't really care what's in the news or in the media. I just look at the price action, because the price action never lies. Okay. So far, there hasn't really been anything clear, because this one is trapped inside the trap zone. This one is just producing a small green bar up here in front of the trap zone. NVIDIA is kind of going all the way back, and you could say, well, Meta actually passed the trap zone. The Meta one, I missed one here. I'm sorry, guys, I missed the Meta in this case, because the Meta would have been a short from here at 516.36. Yeah. And it's producing more red. Yeah. I missed the entry on the Meta short here. Maybe if it produces green bar, we can see if it's a pause bar, and then we can enter for a second move down, the second leg of the red bar. It's funny because today the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq is going completely different. The Nasdaq is going down, and the Dow Jones is going up right now. But so it is. Okay, the Meta is actually showing some kind of resistance through this area. Sorry, the Netflix, I said wrong. The Netflix here is showing some kind of resistance to that area. Let me go see it on the. Here I have the 2 minute, the 3 minute, the 5 minute, and the 15 minute, just to see how it is. Yeah. Yeah. We missed the Meta. The Meta trade should have been entered here for 516 when it goes through the box. I didn't draw the low line here, but the low line should be down here. And technically, you have shorted already here at the color change, but this would be inside the trap zone, which is a little bit more dangerous. Okay, Netflix should produce some kind of green now, because these are basically two pausing bars. But if it's not really producing any more green, then it has to basically go all the way down to where it started. You can see now Meta actually produced a tail over here, kind of trying to pause the drop a little bit. But it's not every day you get a clear signal here. I'm monitoring the Nasdaq index as well right now on the other screen, just to see its behavior. If you guys have any questions about the stocks or my procedure here, just let me know while we're waiting for some kind of clear signal. I mean, some of the, how do you say, the challenges in trading is actually to sit on your hands when there's no clear signal and you really want to jump into a trade. This is one of the most difficult things about trading, is when not to trade. I can't help looking on the Netflix because the Netflix looks really funny. Well, there's a color change on the Meta down here again. There's the color change here. Here on the color change, there was second entry here. Second entry, and yeah, I missed that one as well. Second entry here on the color change here, with a possible stop, with a stop up here, just on top of the green line there. Let me see how it looks on the 3-minute. Yeah. Okay, the Netflix seemed kind of weak to me. I don't know if it's the best signal in the world, but it looks really, really strange, because this is the third bar it has produced without any progress. Let me see all the time frames together. Yeah. Okay, while I get a better signal here, I will just share one thing with you guys. Here you can see, I call it side by side. This is actually a very good tip, I think, because here I'm taking, in this case, this is the Dow Jones index. I'm taking and putting it on the 2-minute and on the 3-minute. And the principle here is that it doesn't really matter if it's a stock or if it's an index, that often you can get a, how do you say, a little bit of a muddy signal on maybe the 2-minute time frame, but then you see the signal more clearly, or the move more clearly on the 3-minute, or the other way around. And the same thing goes if you're trading, let's say if you're normally trading on a 10-minute time frame, or whatever your stock you're trading with, that sometimes it can be a little bit muddy, and you say, it's really not that clear. But in this case, this is like a small 20 MA hold. It's not going to really hold, because the price should bounce in through the 20 moving average, go back to the 20, find the resistance, the support, and then move up. And it does that. So it is technically, it is a MA20 hold. It's just kind of like a hidden one. But you probably won't maybe notice it as clearly here, but here you will actually notice it. So I'm just saying that often, like when I talked about if price is respecting the 20 moving average, you would, let's say if we shift to the 5-minute here and the 10-minute, you would also sometimes be able to see when price respects a moving average a little bit more better. And if you can see that price actually respects a moving average very good, that's the time where you should be very aware. You can see here on the 10-minute, actually the price goes down through and through. But here on the 15 minutes, you have a little bit more respect. So that means, for instance, let's say we saw this area over here on the 15 minute, and you see price is not going to go close through the 200 moving average. That means when you get this 3-bar play here, this is actually a very nice secure entry. So if you enter here around 39,056 and you take it to the color change, you make like 100 points. You know what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bars. That's 9. It's 9. It's 100 points in the Dow. It's cool. I don't know what your guys' target is, but if I make 100 points in the Dow every day, it's fine. It's no problem. Okay, let's go back to the overview again, see if we got any signals here. We got the Nvidia who just stuck the nose out of the trap zone and now kind of fighting a little bit. The Netflix, which actually produced a little bit more red as I predicted it was probably going to do. And here we had the color change on Meta, which is technically still good. So if you made a short on the color change here, from red to green, from green to red, back to red, you would actually be positive. But it looks like it's kind of bottoming out here, so I'm not sure it's going to give that much more. Yeah. The other days when I've been trading, there have been how do you say, better signal in the start of the day. And the thing is with these stocks, sometimes you get a signal straight away. I mean, from 9:30 New York time, you get a straight signal after 2 or 4 minutes. Boom, it's there, and then you just hit it. And sometimes you have to wait 15 minutes. Sometimes you have to wait 30 minutes before you get a clear signal, because sometimes the price just moves a little bit sideways, and how do you say, need to find the way to go. And today is just a little bit messier, you could say. I'm just watching the Dow Jones on the other screen right now. Okay, let me switch to that one very quickly. Here we go. This is the Dow Jones, and actually I use the Fibonacci also in connection with my price action. What's interesting here is that we get this shoot up from 3:30 Danish time or 9:30 New York time, and then you get a red pause bar, and then you're supposed to get more green, but you don't get. You kind of get a pause bar green, and now you get a red bar, which is bouncing off the 38% resistance level on the Fibonacci. So my point right now is that if it doesn't produce some green that starts to go upwards again, it's going to produce more red that has to go to either the 50% or the 61%. So I want to see how this next candle opens and closes, because this offers me an entry. And I can just make one CFD as an example, in case it makes an entry. It makes, an entry for us. Actually, technically, the signal is already there, because it's normal when you have a movement, you should have a retracement. But I was looking for, if the market was strong, it will take one pause bar and then will continue up from the 2 green elephant bars here. I see it's struggling a little bit. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I will enter my short here, and I will move my stop so it's right above the red bar there. And I'm basically just looking for the price either to go up to this red area and therefore prove me wrong, or go down to the 50% area or the 61% area for retracement. you can see the live price over here. The open price was 39,309.6. So this is actually a real trade done live on a real account. It's not a demo account, else it would say demo up here in the top. And we are looking at the 3-minute time frame. And while we were talking, the Nvidia broke out of the trap zone and now skyrocketing, of course. And I can tell you guys that the Netflix actually, as I told you, had a bounce, actually went down and then it bounced up, but now it's back to the same area again. But we're still monitoring the Dow Jones. We want to look at 50% or 61.8 retracement. And this is because this is basically a scalp trade. This is a counter trend trade that I'm doing. That means I'm trading against the trend, which is often very dangerous. And therefore you should only expect to get maybe 1 or 2 or 3 bars. If even that, I could be unlucky and get 0 bars. But this was the signal that I saw. So we will continue to monitor and see how it goes. What I'm looking for is that the candles shouldn't really have too long tails in the bottom, because this indicates that buyers are stepping in. So hopefully the candle will close with not too long a tail. Now you can see the candle closed and there was a very small tail. And now it's actually touching the 50%. So for me, this is basically it. It's a very small scalp trade, and well, we can see and sit a little while and see if it could go down to 61.8. But the 50% area is the most important area of a move. So if you take the move from here to here and then get the 50%, this is the most important. This is where you kind of get, how do you say, settled whether price is going to turn around or not. That's why you can see it's now fighting with this area. But this was my target, so I'm just going to give it a little bit more room, and if it doesn't do anything, I will close it. You can see it keeps on bouncing on this 50% level. Keeps on bouncing. Technically, what I should be waiting for now is that green takes out red. So if we, of course, we need more time, but if we had the time, we would looking for green to take out red before I would close the trade. But in this case, my how do you say, my predefined target was to get it somewhere between the 50% and the 61.8%, because this is a normal retracement basically. So I'll be fine with whatever the market gives me here. You can see it stuck the nose down through the 50% level, and then it's trying to keep the price above the 50% level. A good advice is, if you see any kind of movement in your price, always draw a line within the 50% area, so you notice what's going to happen to the 50% area. This is always key. Always key. Okay, so this candle is going to close now. There you go. No, oh, sorry, 1 minute, sorry, 1 minute. But they're fighting to keep it above the 50%. So let's see what happens. There's 50 seconds now. Yeah, we have 30 seconds left. I wish that I could see more educators on YouTube using live accounts, but not all of them do. Okay. They're definitely fighting to keep the 50% level, as you can see. Really fighting. There you go. Ah, it's actually a little bit underneath. Well, I think this area is fine by me, so I'm going to close it now and take 53 points. There you go, 53 points. That's fine. It wouldn't surprise me now. It's going to go down to the 61.8%. But so it is. Let's go and watch for a second other price actions. As you can see here, the NVIDIA just took completely off. It was on top of the Fabulous 4 box. And also, look, this is very interesting. It found to respect the 200 moving average on the 2-minute time frame. As soon as it respected it and did the color change, which is also outside the Fabulous 4 box, which is here, then it just took off. So in the NVIDIA, after the color change outside the box, right now you could be in up about $1.30, which is not that bad. Depending, of course, if you have 1,000 shares or how many shares you have. Here we go. I'm just going to find a quick snip. There we go. Here we go. So I just cut out my 2 trades. Actually, I did the Germany trade earlier today, as I told you guys, with 1 CFD just for the example, and got 71 points. And as you can see now, the Dow Jones, or Wall Street 30 as they call it, I did 1 share, just 1 CFD, just to show. And it was from 39,309 to 39,256. So that was about 53.6 points. So of course, if I was doing 10 CFDs, it will be 500 kronos on this move. If I'm doing 100 CFDs, it will be 5,300 kronos. It depends on how big one's account is. And I don't know how big your account is. You don't know how big my account is. And a third guy and a fourth guy and a fifth guy who has different kinds of accounts. So what really matters here is the numbers of points that I'm getting. Here, that from 309.6, I shorted it to 256, which in this now, because it's 1 CFD, is 53.6, 53 points in the Dow. Actually, I can say that my normal target for my trading plan is just 35 points on the Dow, because I know if I can make 35 points on the Dow every day, I will, by compound interest, just make my account a little bit bigger every single day. So the challenge here is to be patient enough to let your account grow with just a little bit every day. And you can also say that the shorter time that you expose yourself to the market, the shorter time, the less chance there is that they're going to take away your money again. So if you can go in like a sniper in this case and just wait for the target, wait and wait and wait, and then just pull the trigger when it is, shoot the duck for 53 points, close the day and say, thank you very much, see you tomorrow. And then again, sit like a sniper, wait for the right moment, shoot, and again, take 35 points, take 100 points, whatever. It doesn't really matter as long as you have the consistency in doing what you're doing. And of course, you need to do the right thing, but the consistency is actually the most important thing here. So that basically, to repeat the same, some would say very boring thing over and over and over and over again. And this, for a lot of people, is unfortunately very hard, because they don't have, how do you say, the time or the patience to sit and wait for the trades, or they don't just have the patience to say, well, do I have to wait 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to see the fruition of all my work, of all my patience? Yes, because I promise you that if you can train your patience when it comes to waiting for the right setup, taking the trade and say thank you, maybe take 1 more trade or 2 trade. I mean, the limitation in itself is actually a good thing. So you stop from over trading. But I promise you that if you can find your way to become the sniper, or like Randy Howell, my favorite guy when it comes to trading psychology, he says, be like the cougar that sits in the tree waiting for the prey to go underneath the tree. And the cougar can sit there for hours before the prey comes. And when the prey comes, it jumps from the tree and gets the prey. But sometimes it can sit there for 2 hours and no animal comes even close. Maybe there's an animal, but it's 50 meters away. And the cougar knows that it cannot run that long time in order to catch this prey. And it's kind of the same thing with the trading, because the market produces, how do you say, the chances and the setup when the market does. It doesn't do it when we turn on the computer and turn on the screen. So sometimes you have to sit and wait for 30 minutes or 15 minutes or maybe 1 hour. And sometimes you have to wait for 2 minutes and then it's right there. My advice to you guys is that if any of you guys have the time from uh, 3:30 Danish time or 9:30 New York time, that means when the market opens in in America, the first 30 minutes, if not the first 60 minutes, is fantastic time to catch some really nice setups, especially in Nvidia, Netflix, Microsoft, Meta. It could also be Tesla, could be Coinbase, which tends to follow Bitcoin a lot. It could be other stocks, but the most important thing is that these stocks that you pick needs to have a really nice move. They have to be a bit volatile, and of course, there has to be a lot of trading in it. I mean, you cannot pick some kind of stock that is hardly getting traded at all. It doesn't work that way. It has to be, one of the big stock, and you can take one of the Magnificent Seven stocks, because those stocks is always going to be traded. The Magnificent Seven is Alphabet, it's Amazon, it's Apple, it's Meta, it's Microsoft, it's Nvidia, and it's Tesla. I mean, these stocks just get traded like crazy every single day. So all these seven stocks will sooner or later produce some kind of setups. And I know there's a lot of people say, well, just buy the stocks and just go to sleep, wake up in 2 years and see how it goes. Well, you can do that, of course, but the fact is that you can also be very unlucky that these stocks has fallen 30% in 2 years. So it's actually better to just day trade them and therefore keep you out of this risk of losing 30%. So if you can take $1 there, $2 there, $3 there, doesn't matter if it's Meta or it's Microsoft or it's Apple. If you can take $2 there, $3 there, it adds up. And the only thing you have to do is just turn up a little bit slowly the numbers of CFDs or stocks that you're buying, and at the same time run your calculated risks. So you can have a risk saying 3, 4, 5% of the account, and you only take quality A setups. I mean, really good quality setups. Because then I promise you, it's only a matter of time before your account eventually will grow so much that this can be something that you actually do for a living. But if you say, well, I only have 1 month, I have to perform, I have to make 100,000, I have to make 500,000, I have to make 1 million. Well, then you're under pressure. Then it's going to be much easier because the market is what it is. It gives you the opportunity when they're there, and if there's no opportunity, well, it doesn't give you anything. So our job as a trader is to work on our patience in order to be patient enough to actually wait for the trade to occur. And I know that it could be hard to monitor several stocks at the same time. Like now you can see on my screen, I have 4 stocks. I think this is more than enough. But also today, I looked at the Dow Jones and I looked at the NASDAQ. I think it's okay if you guys say, well, isn't it better just to focus on one stock or one indices and just trade that one? Yeah, sure is. I mean, mostly for my sake, I've been trading the Dow Jones for uh, 4 years now, 5 years, 6 years. Whereas before, when I was starting to trade 16 years ago, I was trading the Danish stocks and I was trading the S&P 500. I don't even remember the last time I traded the S&P 500. It's been so long time. So this shift can actually be possible, that you do this shift and you start trading something else. I guarantee you that If you trade, let's say, only Nvidia or only Meta, you will be acquainted so much with the stock that I'm not saying you're going to predict what it's going to do, but you will know it so good that you will kind of know how it behaves. And let's give an example like Tesla. I don't really like Tesla because I think Tesla does a lot of quirking and turnarounds and turnarounds and turnarounds. But then there are some other stocks that I think produces, better results. And that's why I'm also telling you guys that if you don't have it, make on your computer a possibility to have the stocks as here side by side. That means that you have, in this case, it's the Dow Jones, but it could be the Apple, it could be Microsoft, it could be whatever. So you have two of the closest time frames close to each other, because this gives you a better view on the price and the setup, and if price is actually respecting the moving averages. And in this price action trading that I teach and also that I perform myself, I look very much at how the price respects the moving averages. But that being said, you also have to really, really work on your mindset and the trading psychology. I mean, this is just a given. It doesn't even matter how much you master these setups, you still need to work so much on your trading psychology, because at the end of the day, this is what really matters the most. It's funny because there has not been so many questions today, but that's okay. It's summertime and I don't expect that many people to be online today. And I'm also going to be, how do you say, not maybe doing that much live trading in July, but hopefully back in August, should be back to do more live trading. And there's also going to be some extra things about a competition and stuff like that in Facebook. But I will post more on that in the groups for that. Okay, guys, if there's no more question, I think we will call it a day. Let's go to the beach. We have made our 53 points today. I should make 35. So I'm happy, I'm content, I'm satisfied. Let's go to the beach. And even though the market is now running upwards again, yeah, fine. You could say, well, you could have made 100 points now. Yes, I could. But I could also have lost 50 points again. You never know how it's going to be. You never know how it's going to do. And you don't need to predict how it's going to move. That's very key. You don't need to predict what's going to happen. You can just put the odds to your sides. And in this case, when I saw that there was no follow through on the Dow Jones, I took a short and said, I know it's short given thin. It's going to maybe go to 50% retracement, maybe 61%. That's it. And as you can see now, on the 3-minute, it bounced off exactly at the 20 moving average, just as I kind of talked about it probably would. So you could say, well, couldn't you have made at least more money? Yeah, from the color change, there was a color change right here when green takes out red, but there I would get stopped out on the red one. Why? Because this one is at or near the 20 moving average. Well, it's not really at the moving average, and it's near, but it's not near enough. Near has to be quite close, and this is near. So even if I did take the entry here and got stopped out in the bottom of the green bar here, just a little bit, I could have made another entry here, right at the new color change here. And so far, then I would have been up 70, 75 points. So the point is here that even though the market stops me out on the first trade, how much would I lose there? If I entered there, I would lose, let's see, there. Like, yeah, I would lose about 33 points because my stop will be right underneath the green bar. I hope you guys can see it. Maybe I can magnify a little bit. Here, I'm talking about the 3 red bars going back for the retracement, then the color change, and then somebody could, or even me, could actually enter on the color change if I think that this is at or near the 20 moving average. And to some case, it is near the 20 moving average. It's not at, but it's near. In this case, if I entered on the how do you say, on the price taking out the red bar's body, the body of the red bar, and I would get stopped out down here, I would lose about 30 points. I'll delete this one here. But then I would re-enter here. As soon as this red bar gets taken out, I would re-enter because now it's very close to the 20 moving average. And now, as you can see, the second trade would have been up 96 points. So, well, yeah, I could have made 96 points more than the 53 I did. But the most important thing is, even more now, the most important thing is that that when I took the trade, my mindset said this is a scalp trade. I'm aware that's only going to give me a few bars. And of course, if anybody says, shouldn't you be trading with the trend, is completely correct. So of course I could have entered here and then take one more long trade in this case. But so it is. I'm still happy about the 53 points I got because this was the target for the day, so it's no problem. And as I said, if you can do your target, like if it's 50 point in the Dow or 100 point or 35 points, it's just a matter of time before it's going to be really good for you guys. All right, let me finish it up here and let's go to the beach and have fun. I wish everybody a good holiday, and stay tuned to my channel because there will be more shorts, there will be more videos, there will be more instructions about TD365. And as I told you, there's a link in the description in case you want to use the same platform. Thank you very much for looking, guys, looking at my video today, watching. It has been a pleasure, and have a great holiday. Bye-bye.